You don't need magic to disappear for a while, because Firestone tires were built for ticking off mile markers. Firestone Destination LE3 tires for 70,000 miles of exploring. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Tiger Woods, Jason Day, and Freddie Couples are just a few of the names linked to the quality and precision behind Bridgestone Golf. But the man behind the scenes who helped create and catapult the Bridgestone Golf brand to the PGA grounds is Dan Murphy, its current president and CEO. Dan has a long history in the golf business and is a golf fanatic himself. But it wasn't until the early 2000s when he was recruited to help launch the Bridgestone Golf brand and quickly distinguished it for its golf ball fitting capabilities. Since then, Bridgestone Golf manufactures golf balls and accessories for everyone from PGA Tour pros to weekend warriors teeing it up with their buddies. Bridgestone Golf also serves as a premium lifestyle link to the Bridgestone Tire brand.
Oh, Dan.
Hey, Johnny G, it's Dan Murphy. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm looking forward to talking to you, and to get the ball rolling, I'm going to get the ball in the air, if I can do it. I think this just might prove how hard I'm working. It went up in the air, so things are off to a good start.
All right, awesome. Welcome to Johnny G and Friends. I'm Johnny G, and on today's podcast, we're joined by my good friend Dan Murphy, president of Bridgestone Golf, down there in Covington, Georgia. Dan-o, how you doing today, buddy?
Johnny G, I'm so excited to be with you today.
Wonderful. Well, I tell you what, I'm already jealous looking at you with your hitting golf balls and in the environment that you're working in. But Dan, I know golf is your passion. So how did you land in the golfing industry and with Bridgestone?
Yeah, well, I landed accidentally, actually. I grew up in northern New Jersey, a blue-collar family. My dad was a plumber, so we didn't have a whole lot of golf going on. We had basketball and baseball and a lot of other sports. And then I went away to college, went to Wake Forest University, had the good opportunity to go south to college. And Wake Forest was a big golf school, so it got me interested in golf. So I started a little bit late. And then I worked in the grocery products business to start with, right out of my career, right out of college. But I was always missing sports, and there became an opportunity about 10 years into my career to switch over to golf. And I jumped in with MaxFly Golf, which was a great brand in the 90s. And then my big break came in 2004 when I got a job with Bridgestone. And Bridgestone at the time was marketing their brand under the Precept brand, but they wanted to change to the mother brand, to the Bridgestone brand, and they wanted golf to be branded as Bridgestone. And so I got to do that. I got to introduce that. That was awesome, and it was my big break in my career.
You know, I was, just a side note, I was the secret behind that, because when I would go to Tokyo for my board meetings, I'd bring them a Precept golf ball and say, guys, this is a great golf ball, but you know, Michelin, BF Goodrich makes a tire called a Precept. So we're helping them, not us. And can't you put Bridgestone on the golf ball? So eventually, between your efforts and mine, we got that done.
Well, one thing that I knew, competing with Precept at the time, we knew that it was a better product, because we took it to our laboratory at MaxFly and we tested it out, and we saw that it was a more consistent product. It was technologically superior, but the marketing maybe wasn't very good. And so what I always felt about myself and how I could help here, and how it was a good marriage between what I had and what Precept had, is they had the very best golf balls in the world. They just needed to tell the world about them. And that's where I kind of came in and tried to fill that role.
So let's expand on what you just said. In the early 2000s, Bridgestone Golf was the underdog in the golf industry. What was your marketing strategy to give Bridgestone golf balls that immediate notoriety?
Well, even though we switched from Precept brand to the Bridgestone brand, we were still outspent by Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, and the big guys, right? That multi-category companies, and they were spending a lot more money. Titleist, for example, goes out to the tour and has a lot of players, and they spend money that we would never even dream of. So we had to be more creative. And in the early days of the brand, we did it in two different ways. One was on tour, right? We couldn't outspend them, but we could out-cool them. We could we could get the right players. And you remember, you were around, we were just meeting each other around that time, and we had Freddie Couples, we had Matt Kuchar, we had Brandt Snedeker, we had Nick Price, we added Lee Trevino. So we had these characters that could really tell a story and carry a lot of attention, but maybe we weren't able to have 80 or 90 of them that the competitors would have. So that was one thing on tour. That was our tour strategy, was quality over quantity. And then at the retail level, we popularized this thing called ball fitting. And we started talking about, hey, it's great that we've got great players that play the golf ball, but it's really important for you to get the right ball for your game. And doing so was all about fitting the golf ball. Titleist was out there with a one-size-fits-all story. Everybody's supposed to play the pro ball. Granny to the kid to the tour player, everybody was supposed to play the tour ball. We never believed that. We don't all have size 12 shoe or size XX shirt, right? So there's different appropriate things and different fits for different people. And so we popularized ball fitting that got the right golf ball for the right player and made the game more fun for the regular guy.
Even me, my golf swing is like 10% of what Tiger Woods' golf swing is, right? You know, it's not even in the same league.
Oh, I don't know. You're selling yourself short, Johnny.
So Bridgestone Golf, I think, has two mandates. Can you describe what those mandates are?
Sure. Well, it's very clear what I'm measured by. The first one is to make money, right? We're a strategic business unit for Bridgestone, and anybody that's associated with Bridgestone knows that we have certain financial criteria that we have to meet. And so we do that. In the pandemic, we can talk about that, how that changed golf, but it's been very, very good for golf. The pandemic drew a lot more people, and our profitability has been very, very good. So that's our first mandate. The second mandate is that we help to promote the Bridgestone brand. You think about it, we're relatively small from a revenue perspective compared to Tire, but we do have quite a significant PR impact, right? The brand on a golf ball at Augusta National or at the Players or at the US Open, rolling down the fairway or across the green with those HD TVs. They pick up the brand, or you see the brand on a hat. That has an impact on the Tire side that we think is very significant. And so in that regard, you know, a little bit like, say, the Michelin Guide helps Michelin sell tires. To some degree, Bridgestone Golf is an owned asset that helps sell tires for Bridgestone Tire.
And I remember one of your great grassroots campaigns at the Masters, this was many years ago, where you were giving hats to everybody outside the Masters. So when they did focus in on it, you saw everybody in the audience with Bridgestone hats on. That was a great grassroots program there.
Well, a little behind the scenes, we did get a little talking to about that. We maybe jumped the fence a little bit in terms of how to promote our brand, but we didn't do it again. We just had a pretty cool experience, and we got a phone call. I believe it was yourself that called and said, "Murphy, what are you doing down there? I got a customer down there being entertained by Michelin, and he's seeing Bridgestone everywhere. What's going on?" And I was able to kind of get on the map a little bit doing that little stunt.
We certainly did appreciate it. But, you know, the other thing is, remember the ads we put together, because, you know, the goal is, and from our founder, Hiroshi Ishibashi, is to put the lifestyle along with buying tires, whether it's tennis balls, which we make, the bicycles, which we made, golf balls, whatever. And we would have those ads, if you remember. It said, "Are you driving Bridgestones?" And then you would have a woman in an SUV driving with Bridgestone dealers, and then you'd have a gentleman hitting a golf ball. So, "Are you driving Bridgestones today?" Those were really great campaigns. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah. And they're in the early days, you know, again, we're relatively small, so the resources of Bridgestone Tire were a little bit deeper than ours. So we always loved the idea of teaming up with you guys and helping you promote the brand, but we were helped tremendously too, because our pros, we could contribute that and then kind of, what's the word, kind of dovetail in with you guys relative to promoting tires as well as golf balls. And you know, a lot of people ask me when I say I work for Bridgestone Golf, they say, "I don't get it, a tire and a golf ball, how are they at all similar?" And the answer is that they're very, very similar. The high stress performance environment that a golf ball goes through when it hits a club head at a high speed is very similar to the same way that a tire interacts with the road surface. I mean, it's that critical split-second interaction, and it's the material science that goes into making sure that the product performs in that critical second that either, in golf, it's fun, you hit a good shot. With tires, it's life and death. You have a performance that's really quite critical. So we think it's golf's a fun way to promote that critical second, that material science, that impact moment, and how it's critical that our engineering and our material science really performs at that moment.
I got one quick question before you resume your tour there. You brought it up just a little while ago about COVID, okay? And obviously Bridgestone golf in itself has exploded since COVID. I found that out myself too, because, you could go outside in the fresh air. You didn't have to have a mask on or whatever. So how has that all taken shape, and how has that changed the game of golf?
Yeah, well, COVID really was a blessing and a real challenge for us, as it was for everybody. We weren't unique at all, but I remember very distinctly, we're here in Covington, Georgia at the plant where we make golf balls, and I remember April of 2020, and just like the rest of the world and all of the audience here today, it was a very stressful time. We had to shut the factory under mandate from the state government, but we were able to open up pretty quickly. We were down for 3 weeks, and we were able to open up again. And when we opened up in May of 2020, so we're down April to May, when we opened up May of 2020, folks were kind of shut into their house looking for opportunities for recreation and fresh air. And one of the big answers to that was golf. You could get out onto a golf course that had a natural inclination to let you have social distancing. And you could get out there, get some fresh air, spend some time with your friends, and with a social distancing aspect to it. So golf exploded. So all of a sudden, May 2020, we found ourselves, we were back in the factory when some of our competitors in other states were not back in their factory and were shut down for a longer time. Like, we have a couple of our big competitors are up in Massachusetts. They were down for 10 to 12 weeks. We were down for 3, being in the state of Georgia. It was a little bit more of an aggressive state in terms of opening up for business at the time. And so golf exploded, and there we were with a supply of golf balls because we were manufacturing and other folks weren't. And so our market share took off, and our business took off, and we shot up from pre-pandemic to current about 48%. And what's really good about what's happening in golf is it's held, right? Some activities shot up right after the pandemic or during the pandemic and then dropped off. Golf shot up to this elevated plateau and has actually shown a 2 or 3% increase over the last couple of years. So 22 was good, 23 is good, and 24 is looking pretty good. So it's kind of 2 things that happened in golf that made it more popular. One was the pandemic, but the other one is this whole phenomenon of off-course golf, where people go, the simulators, or they go to a bar where you can hit, like Topgolf, for example. You can go and hit golf balls, drink beer, and eat hot dogs with your friends. That has kind of made golf a little bit easier to get involved with. It's kind of a lower risk entry point for golf, and it's gotten people involved in the game, and they're staying with the game. Once they get to that point, they're more willing to come and do what's important to us, which is play green grass golf, tee up a real golf ball from Bridgestone and knock it in the water and then have to go buy more of them.
Well, it's definitely created a lot more excitement in the world of golf. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So it's been great.
So Dan, one of the most important things you talked about earlier is fitting a golf ball, whether you're 70 years old like me, 72, or you're somebody that's 17. We hit at different speeds and everything. Can you cover that for me?
So here we are at the test facility in Covington, Georgia, and this is where we test golf balls. We do it out remotely at country clubs where we have mobile teams go out and engage folks, but here it's kind of our welcome center to test golf balls at our test range here in Georgia. And we're going to walk around the test center in a minute, but first we're going to talk about ball fitting. Ball fitting is very, very important because it's great to be able to get the right golf ball for your game, right? We don't all have the same shoe size or the same shirt size, so getting the right golf ball for your game is really important. And one of the things is is not only your preferences of what kind of golf ball you want to play. Do you want to play one that's better off the tee, gives you more chance of keeping on the fairway, or do you want one that spins around the green? A lot of that has to do with what kind of player you are. But one of the areas that we've really honed in on is swing speed. And we realize that swing speed makes a real difference in how a golf ball performs. At a very high swing speed, like a tour level swing speed, a firmer ball might be more appropriate. At a more recreational level like mine, a softer golf ball might be more appropriate. So you can really compress that golf ball and get the full performance benefits out of it. And for example, we kind of talk about our products as two different groups. For moderate swing speeds, we've got a Tour B RX and a Tour B RXS. This one, the RXS, has got a little bit more spin. This one's a little bit more distance. Then we match those with pro products that are more higher swing speed oriented. For example, this is the one that Tiger Woods plays, called the Tour B X. And so that's a firmer golf ball for high swing speed players. And then the XS, the blue one here, that one has got a little bit more spin to it. So it's made for a higher swing speed, but incorporates a little bit more spin. So the guy that really can control his spin around the green might want that. The guy that wants a little distance off the tee, extra distance, would control that.
See, when you know people, you get one of these balls right here.
I got a whole dozen of them, Johnny.
I love it. I love it.
We're going to walk around the test center for a little bit and just show you some of the fun things that we've got here, some of the toys that we have. And let's go outside and we'll walk over to the Iron Byron. So this is kind of a cool area here. Let's pan out and just take a look at the range here. So we've got 300 yards way back to keep you on the range here, but just beyond it, we kind of always laugh. There's a prison, and if you can hit to the prison, you're really doing pretty well. But so from time to time we'll have tour players come out here, better amateurs. We'll do a lot of testing for quality testing out here, competitive testing, R&D testing as we develop new golf balls, and we do that all here. And so probably our most favorite thing is to have a better player out here, a tour player. But we can't do that every day, so a lot of times we'll use this, which is, we call it the Iron Byron. This is a mechanical test machine, and we're gonna hit a golf ball on here just so you can see what happens with it. But it's kind of fun. We use it in conjunction with a lot of launch monitors. Launch monitors, like, I don't know if you can see behind, there's an orange box behind the golf club here. Yeah, that's a TrackMan, and that has a radar sensing Doppler radar device in it that can track a golf ball all the way through its flight, can tell you what the spin rate is, what the launch angle, what the ball speed is, how long it stays in the air, how long it rolls out, and how far it goes down this 300-yard fairway. And so what we're going to do right now is, just for the fun of it, we're going to hit one just so you can get a sense of it.
Very cool.
You see how smooth that was, Johnny? That's just like your swing.
Yeah, in my dreams.
Did you hear that nice crisp sound of impact? That's when I played golf with you. I think we played in Phoenix once in 110-degree heat. I remember that same sound coming off your golf ball.
You're so kind. You're so kind. Oh, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. So I want to ask you, obviously, in your 20-plus years with Bridgestone Golf, there's got to have some memories out there that are some fond memories. Do you have any you would like to share with our audience today?
Fond memories of 20 years. Well, one of them is meeting Tiger Woods and being able to work with Tiger Woods. He's the greatest golfer that's ever walked on green grass, and so to me that's been one of the real special things. And to watch him test a golf ball, our technicians that are world-class technicians are always blown away how there's a real dichotomy, a real difference between Tiger and all the other pros. And you're talking about people that make money to play golf, and there's a measurable difference between how they test golf balls. Tiger's in a league of his own, as he is as a player, he is as a tester. And he can really tell you a lot. We have all these launch monitors and all this computer equipment that tells you a lot about your golf ball flight and your performance, but he can tell you that just from feel. Right? He can tell you what his ball speed is, he can tell you what his distance is, and it's really kind of amazing. And our technicians often play a game with them, and they won't tell him what the computer says, and they let him guess, and he's almost invariably right on it. So he's kind of an amazing guy. He's also kind of incredible. The area that I'm probably more familiar with is the creation of TV ads and creative. And he's pretty much a professional actor as well. He's done so much in his day of creating ads and creating videos and such. He hardly needs any coaching at all. He's kind of amazing. He'll give it to you hard, soft, and medium, all without cue. And he's able to deliver his lines, and he shows up, and he's always a professional. And I remember the very first time I met him, it was we were at a shoot, and he would show up early quite often. And one time he flew his jet into Covington. We have a little airport right across the way here. We had a studio just down the road, and we were expecting Tiger at 8 o'clock that morning. I remember it. And so I got there early, worried about the day. Tiger's coming. Is everything all right? I got to go check it out. So I got there about 6:30. And about 6:45, in walks Tiger Woods, a whole hour and 15 minutes early from what he's supposed to do. And he said, all right, let's go. I'm ready to go. And of course, there's nobody there. So it's just me and Tiger Woods. So we shared a Chick-fil-A biscuit, and I made small talk with him for about 45 minutes. And that was an interesting story for me. So, but he's amazing. He's the best.
He's definitely represented Bridgestone brand as well as the other troop of golfers we have. But I got an interesting story to share with you. It was like 25 years ago. I'm in the boardroom in Tokyo, Japan, giving my speech as best I can in Japanese. And Kaizaki-san was our chairman at the time. And halfway during my speech, he interrupts me and he says, Gamo-san, can you please stop for a minute? I have to take an important phone call. So he leaves Dan for about 15 minutes. He comes back and he said, gentlemen, I have some very exciting news to share with you, but it's top secret. Please don't share this with anyone, but I just signed long-term contract to make Nike golf balls. And I was like, oh, wow, because Tiger Woods is hitting those balls. And so, what can you tell me about that?
Well, I mean, I think it made a lot of strategic sense back then. Before we did the Bridgestone brand, and we talked about how we added them, or started the Bridgestone brand in 2005. I got here in 2004, and we launched in 2005. Well, before that, it kind of made sense that Bridgestone was one of the great manufacturers of golf balls, and Nike was a great marketing company, and the two of them got together and said, all right, let's take on the big dog Titleist by combining forces, working together. You do the marketing, we'll make the best golf balls in the world, and we'll get together and really move the needle. And so it's a little known fact that Tiger, when he went to Nike, which was in the year 2000, he was actually playing a Bridgestone manufactured golf ball. So that's a trade secret. That's a little inside baseball for you. Don't tell anybody.
Well, not.
And and so it worked out really well for all those years. Obviously Tiger knew where his golf ball was coming from, and so all those years and all those wins and all that achievement that he really created from the year 2000 onward. I think all but one of his majors was a Bridgestone ball, and he really enjoyed his time with Bridgestone. So when it came time for Nike to decide to exit the business, and they did that around 2015, 16 or so. And the first call that Tiger made was to Bridgestone. He's like, hey, I'm familiar with you, obviously. I know who you are, you know who I am, and maybe we can get together. And so our business in 2016 really took off. And for us as a marketing company and as a manufacturing company, having the best product in the world played by the best player in the world has been wonderful. And the big highlight during that time was the 2019 Masters. And of course, Tiger had been out of the game a little bit, out of the headlines, and he came back with a roar in 2018 and 2019. Remember 2018, he won the Tour Championship, and in 2019, he was really hot coming into the spring and won the Masters that year. And it was just a magical moment for me personally, having met him and worked with him. and I think a magical moment for the brand. I remember I wasn't at Augusta that day. I was at home in Covington. I was with my family, and I cried tears of joy, Johnny, because Tiger we really got cooking as a business. I remember the next day, just the phone was ringing, and there's an old saying in golf, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, and we did just that.
That's exactly right. Well, in the tire business, it's race on Sunday and sell on Monday. And I got to tell you, having Tiger at Firestone Country Club, let's say, and we had the Bridgestone Invitational, member at Firestone Country Club. So we got both of our brands in there. And, it was fitted for his type of game. I think he won at least 7 times there. So it really got our whole customer base of our tire dealers, our retail stores across the United States, to really get behind everything. So everything that you did, sir, to work with, the Snedekers, the Couples, the Jason Days, and everybody, it really has paid off big time for the tire brands.
Yeah, and we're really excited about the future for our brand as well. We've got a lot of new things going on. I'll give you a quick hint about what's coming in 2024. We're really excited about. We talked about ball fitting. We talked about great technology in golf balls. As we look back on the last 20, 30 years of the tour, you think about what's happened, and we see 3 major waves of things that have happened on the professional tour that filtered down to the consumer level. The first one in the 90s is equipment really got better, right? You had bigger driver heads. The science of hitting a golf ball really came to fruition, and fitting became very popular, and that kind of trickled down to consumer level over the years. The second big wave happened when Tiger Woods came on the scene, and he made everybody an athlete. It got very popular to work out and be fit and be able to really be an athlete, and he started that. So that started at the top and kind of filtered down. And currently what's happening on tour that we're involved in for 2024 is mindfulness, and really using the advantage of clear thinking and clearing your mind to be able to hit the golf ball in a particular way. And the way that we're doing this is in 2024, we have technology on our ball from the outside that is called Mindset. And it's a logo. I encourage you to go to bridgestonegolf.com and check it out. But check out Mindset. It's got a 3-step process that really gives the golfer a new tool to be able to clear their head and hit the ball the same way every way. And the first step of that process is to plan their shot. So there's a symbol on the golf ball that represents that and reminds them to do that. Plan your shot. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to go down the right side, left side? What is your plan for the shot? The second step is visualization. Visualize what happens with that ball through the air and what happens with your body to be able to produce that shot. And then the third is a little green dot that just narrows your focus, quiets your mind. Don't think about swing thoughts. Don't think about where your weight is or where your hands are or whatever. Just let your athletic self hit the golf ball. So it's kind of get a plan, get a focus on the green dot, hit the ball. And we think it's really kind of a really cool new way, especially for better players that have a process to reinforce that process, and also for high handicappers and new players to develop a process. And it's a reminder on the golf ball, which is the piece of equipment you use on every shot. So we're excited about it.
Oh, it sounds really cool. So as a consumer, this new Mindset line, when I buy a dozen of those, does it give instructions to how I get my thing? Is there a thing you can scan, or what's happening?
Sure. Yeah, there's a QR code. When you go to retail, you'll see there's a QR code, and there's a card in every dozen. There's a back panel on every dozen, and it describes what you have to do and how you do it. But most effective is that QR code because it's video. We all learn from video these days, right? YouTube is everything.